Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dual Dynasty, your weekly WWE review show here on the BC WrestlePod Network. I am one of your hosts, Mikey. Joining me, as always, is the Professor. And then, of course, the most bondiest of Bond villain, Kilt Man, down there.
Nice.
Oh, my goodness. It is crazy. It is the calm before the storm. WrestleMania is this weekend, as well as all the 50 other promotions that decided to do stuff leading into and out of WrestleMania weekend as well. But we are here to cover this past week's Raw and SmackDown. We are going to kind of breeze through Raw and SmackDown a little bit this week because the fun part of this episode is because we will not have a review before Mania happens next weekend. So the crux of this episode is to talk about our Mania predictions, and also with me going on a 10-minute rant why the wrong tag team championships are on the Mania card. I'm just putting it out there. Hashtag SmackDown tag team divisions better than Raw. I said it.
That seems to be what everyone else is saying too. So we'll see.
I would agree, honestly.
I will say though, I am very impressed with certain matches that happen because they realize they ain't going to be on the WrestleMania card. So they're like, bucket, we're going to show up and show out and prove why it was a mistake to keep us on the roster. Also, there are lots of wrestlers who suddenly took jabs at Triple H for not being featured on the card, which we'll talk about when we get there. But if you like what you see on your screen here, or even if you don't, that is okay. We love you either way. And you want to see us by supporting or giving us hate mail, you can find us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where not only do we do reviews on the YouTubes and the Twitch dumbs, but we do report cards for the weekly shows and the pay-per-views on the social media sites, as well as out-of-context clips that totally will not come and bite us in the butt when we, apply for jobs, when we get famous, and they will totally be used against us. They may or may not be used against us to cancel us on the internet. You've made it on the internet when people come and cancel you, or try to at least.
It's a matter of time.
Just like lots of influencers are being canceled right now for a certain music festival going on in my city right now. But that's for another podcast. Oh my goodness. So we also have merchandise below. There will be a WrestleMania theme drop happening on this Friday. I've been working on the design. I'm kind of happy of how it turned out. It's going to be a lot of fun just to get us prepared for Hell Week. There will be a new design this Friday, so stay tuned for that announcement.
The fuck up.
Oh, no.
That's me. I'm the fuck up. No, you were dropping WrestleMania merch the weekend before, not really weekend, but the week of WrestleMania, and I don't have any yet? How dare you, sir?
Hey, you know what? Listen, I am a one-man army here. Do you know the amount of prep work that I have been doing for all these social media posts that are about to be going out this week and all the graphics I've been making?
Yes.
So,
you're working too hard, Mikey. You're working way too hard.
I've done it.
You know what? In turn, I've been putting in the work. I am getting help for Hell Week because then all you mofos are going to owe me one during the summer.
Okay, and?
No, but
how much do I owe you in general?
That is very true as well. But in all seriousness,
generalization.
I'm letting y'all know now on air, breaking news, there's going to be a week I'm gone in July, so it will be kind of all hands on deck situation, especially for the AEW boys. Somebody is going to have to run tech for the y'all in review for the pay-per-view. But anyways, we'll figure it out.
Let's blow through these and talk about the good stuff.
Yes, which is, good question mark, because some things were, but anyways, so this is how this episode is going to work. We're going to go through Raw and SmackDown, and then we are going to make both night predictions for WrestleMania. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. So let's kick things off with Raw. So this is the first Raw that we are back in the States. So this was, of course, in Chicago, which was nice, which, we've already talked about it on here multiple times across multiple promotions. Chicago is the bed of wrestling, Mecca, if you will, here in the States, or at least one of them. But it also gets oversaturated with all the companies coming through here. So
the original Midwest territory, right, is sort of like Minneapolis, St. Paul, Chicago, maybe somewhere in Nebraska, and then you get Ohio Valley Wrestling and everything else that comes after that.
Yeah, exactly. Chicago also is home, that I just recently learned, to a lot of lucha libre action too, so that's a lot of fun as well. But we kick things off with Monday Night Raw this week with a segment in which this officially on screen gives us what we've already been knowing since Io won the championship, that at WrestleMania, Io will be defending her title against not only the Elimination Chamber winner, Bianca Belair, but also former champion Rhea Ripley. So Io has two people to contend with. Bianca and Rhea go at it. I literally have written down my favorite line from Bianca is telling Rhea, shut up. I'm talking. I'm like, oh, NXT heel Bianca is slowly making her way back. And I love this attitude from Bianca. Io's just like, tries to get involved. She gets face palmed to the side from Rhea as Bianca and Rhea begin to fight. And Io's like, you know what? This is some bullshit. So she drop kicks both of them, signs the contract, gets her title, and gets out. And it has been officially made at WrestleMania. It is a triple threat for this title.
Yes, the all-ass signing, because god dang, I didn't know Io had that much booty. And even then, also, I don't like the corset she was wearing because the corset was like too big for her. It was like covering half of her like lower torso and like her ass. I'm like, it looks weird. Your costume person, I love you. Thank you for that booty shot, but what the fuck were you thinking?
I was like, especially since she had to do drop kick off the top rope too. I was like, that could have went wrong in so many ways.
Yeah, I wonder how much say they have over gear and what they don't have and what they're comfortable or not comfortable with. I would like to think they're empowered to make their own choices and whatnot, but this is not the first time I've heard that on the internet this week, actually.
No, probably won't be the last, because and from what I understand, they do have some control over the ring gear, considering this wasn't like a match, so to speak. It was more of a just, let's sign things. I just know that it could have been better.
That is very true. But this is what opened the show. We got this out of the way. So who knows what the go home show is going to look like tomorrow. So we shall see what happens with all of that. But from this opening segment, we also get an announcement that so I don't know what's going on with WWE, if there's a lack of communication or they just decided we're going to do this. This week in particular, we got a lot of WrestleMania matches announced before they even got a chance to do so on the show, because this was told to us the morning of Monday Night Raw that we would be getting this fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship at Mania between Braun, Penta, Finn, and Dominic. And I'm like, okay, cool. I love that. Wait a minute. Raw hasn't gone on yet, so we haven't even gotten official confirmation like in the universe of Monday Night Raw yet. So I'm like, whatever. Let's see how it turns out. We literally got like a 50-second backstage promo with these two again at each other's offs. Liv is gaslighting everybody all to high heavens. And, we know that Finn and Dominic are about to have a relationship breakdown in the middle of this match at WrestleMania. The time has come to finally.
That's what I'm hoping for. Break these two up, get them moving on to something else. They're both kind of stuck.
This is gonna go into my predictions for this match, so I will bite my tongue a little bit.
Okay, we will put a pin in it and we'll come back to it when we talk about Mania predictions, because right now, don't care. Best match of Monday Night Raw, because I think Lyra knew. She's like, my championship is not going to be defended on Raw. And so she and Bayley are like, you know what? Let's burn the house down with this match and be like, damn, they should have put us on Mania, because this match was so much fun. It was so damn good.
And very good.
That's what I was going to say. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yes, we will. But Lyra retains her Women's Intercontinental Championship, and all hopes of the mid-card women's titles being on Mania are forever dashed. Or who knows? We'll see what happens with all that. Because right now, we have the latest hair care shampoo commercial people backstage. AJ Styles and Karrion Kross are continuing to have this will they, won't they, are they going to be on, like, kind of thing where Karrion is talking to AJ. I'm going to be for real. Instead of Logan Paul, I would have rather seen AJ and Karrion Kross, but, I'm not booking it.
I have to agree, and you almost made me spit up my beer on the hair care product. And now, Keith, I can't tell you. I think I sent you that TikTok, but I probably did. Yep. I know I commented on it. One of an Australian WWE talker who has a lot of opinions that I share, who says every time she just sees two guys like really up close, she wants to go. And I'm like, I say that every single week, but it's like, I didn't get to see this promo because I was clicking through so quickly. I skipped over this one, I think. And so, yeah, I had to agree the hair care battle will be great.
Just Palo Malo, it was popping up in the background, would be amazing.
Is there actually a feud to this, or is it just something kind of sort of happening?
I'm going to be honest. I think
we don't have to unpack it. I was just curious.
Yeah, I think right now it's kind of sort of happening, which I hope leads into something. By the way, I need that new Karrion Kross shirt he's wearing, because that is sick with the puppet strings.
Yeah. I think it is just literally just kind of a build-up almost. It's definitely like who the F are you kind of situation. And two guys with great hair jawing at each other.
So AJ's going to Mania to face Logan Paul. Karrion Kross, while not on the Mania card, will be involved in some action that we will get to see him involved in this Thursday at GCW Bloodsport. So that's going to be interesting. So from here, we get into the American debut of El Grande Americano as he takes on, well, not just he, but him and American Made take on the LWO. And I'm just like, I feel we've seen this match before. Ultimately, American Made and El Grande Americano pick up the victory here. And I'm just like, all right, then. There's nothing more I have for this.
It was fun. The clip of it that I saw looked fun. It didn't seem like it was earth-shattering or anything, but I didn't hate seeing this.
No. Oh, I should also say El Grande Americano won this match for him and American Made by having a loaded mask with the metallic plate and doing a headbutt.
Yeah, that was pure Chad Gable. No, it's totally not Chad Gable. No. Actually, it would be hilarious if it was actually Kurt Angle and Kurt was actually able to. I know he's not able to wrestle anymore due to all of his injuries. But that would be hilarious. If
you would
was
know
actually
by body type right
I
away.
know, but still, it would be
because he's
funny.
atrophied so much.
Yeah, he has. He's little. Oh god, I had something else besides the Mayo brothers and the wannabe. I don't know. I don't even know what to call you right now. It was a weird match to begin with, but I do enjoy it, and I do love what it's going to lead into, and we will get to that in the prediction.
Yes, we definitely will.
Miracle Whip, mayonnaise, and piss poor coffee. That's a horrible trios champion. My God.
No, it's Miracle Whip. What did I say? It wasn't Hellman's. Was it Hellman's?
You had
It
a
was
mustard in there?
Hellman's.
It's shifted.
It's Honey Mustard's sister.
That's what it was.
It's Miracle Whip and Hellman's, I think it was. And then, I called Chad Gable something good. And it wasn't WO sauce.
He is Worcestershire sauce.
No, it was not really, but really at the same time. It's just it's that one weird. I'll remember by the end of the show.
Alrighty then. So we'll come back to you, El Grande Americano Latte. So here we go. This was on the Twitterverse that during the live view, because they cut these parts out, Ludwig Kaiser cuts a promo saying that he's without a WrestleMania match, and he's claiming that there will be consequences. So I'm like, if he does get a match at Mania, my money is either on Aleister Black or returning Miro/Rusev.
I didn't get to say this probably because I was not here, but no one, come on.
No.
Yeah, okay, so let's put a pause in the review, and I want to allow you two to talk about it, because me and Minnie were here last week to talk about that promo between Tiffany and Charlotte that just went left, right,
and we weren't.
Yeah.
My take, I'll go fast. My take was, I think there's two things to it. Everyone's saying, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. Charlotte gave up because she couldn't get a word in edgewise, and she let the crowd get under her skin, which a veteran like her should not have done. Even though she tried to relish in it, I don't think she realized Chicago was going to act that way. 1. 2, Tiffany crushed her, in my opinion. Tiffany did the mean girl thing that we've been talking about for a long time and won. Charlotte didn't know how to react. The crowd got behind Tiffany. Tiffany dropped the mic and left, and all Charlotte could think of to say was, why is he in my DMs? And that didn't work at all. And now both of them are getting ridiculed for this thing that went off the rails. No, Charlotte blew it. Tiffany tried to save it by going full heel, and now they're trying to play it off as there's certain things you don't say. There's things they say all the time. They talk about each other's fathers and mothers. The Rock was out there talking about Cody's mom a year ago. Like, they're doing all kinds of things with family, boyfriends, girlfriends. No.
Yeah. I think people tend to forget, and people are like, oh, Tiffany should have said that. I was like, no, Tiffany, as much as I didn't like what Tiffany had to say either, the 0 and 3 for marriages, all that good stuff, she could have went so much worse.
She could have gone, who's your half sister? She could give me a call. She could have done all kinds of things.
And if Tiffany, I don't think would ever do this, but again, I don't put it past any wrestler at this point. She could have brought up Charlotte's dead brother in all this too. Yeah. And people tend to forget while I didn't like what Tiffany had to say, because I feel like it's low hanging fruit, there are lots of other things that way worse that Charlotte would be like, oh no, it's on site backstage. And then we get word that there's brawl out WWE version between these two.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's literally Charlotte's like, oh, I'm going to run this, blah, 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 and then gets smacked verbally. And it's like, oh, hey, stop stuttering. Get your shit right. You fucked up the promo. Your opponent saved it, and you had to get the last word in. If I was Tiffany getting out of that ring when I heard that, I would have started echoing, because You look at this man, as much as I don't like his character, he is you can just look at this man. He is one woman and that's it. He's very straight laced.
He is
very
ride and die for
rolled.
Tiffany all the way.
Who wouldn't ride and die for Tiffany? She is an amazing individual. Like, it was such bad call on Charlotte's part. And this has nothing to do with Tiffany. It is all Charlotte. Tiffany tried to save it. Charlotte fucked up again. And this is one of the things I've been upset about since her return. It's been a constant, we're going to put you out there, but you're underperforming. It's like much like she saw John Cena doing his retirement tour. It's like, oh, I could do that too. And then just fumbles.
She's been in her head since she got back. Her mic stuff is not her in the ring's fine. Her Q to Qs and stuff fine. Like solid Charlotte Flair, the Charlotte Flair we know. I think she thought back she'd be a conquering hero. She'd come back from being injured. Everyone's gonna love her. Everything's gonna be fine. It was not that immediately.
No.
And Chicago went, no, we don't like it. And I don't think she was expecting that quite that way, but we have other stuff to get to.
Yeah,
we can.
I'll end it by saying this, and we'll bring it up during our WrestleMania predictions.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll bring it up more in depth when we talk about our Mania predictions. I think this whole feud has not serviced Charlotte or Tiffany. While I don't always like Charlotte being immediately put into the championship line to get a championship match, I honestly don't think it's her fault. And I actually have to agree with another friend of mine who also at least I think they see reason, but I feel like it's mostly creative and Hunter's, not Triple H's, Hunter's fault for how we've gotten to this. But we'll talk about that when we get to Mania predictions. Back to this. If Ludwig is on the Mania card and has a match on there, my money is on Alistair or Rusev. Who knows? We'll see. But from here, while I will say this, I'm going to talk about the good stuff, but then I'm going to give my critiques. First and foremost, yes, Jay, this is finally what I needed from you, especially after Jimmy getting mollywopped and bled out like a pig to slaughter last week from Gunther, and Gunther being the sadistic villain that he is by bathing and licking, which is not sanitary, Jimmy's blood last week. We get this promo between these two, and Jay's like, you have a family? You talk to your moms? Well, what do you talk about? Like how your day was, how your job was? Well, guess what, Gunther? Guess what I did? I talked to my mom, and she asked me why I didn't protect my brother. But you know what? I'm summarizing all this. Please go watch this because I thought this was a pretty good promo. But Jay's like, but I realized one thing throughout this whole entire thing. I'm not scared of you. So come WrestleMania, the night before, I'm going to lay my head down and I'm going to say a prayer for me, because I am going to need forgiveness for the man that I'm about to become at WrestleMania. I'm like, where was this like 5 weeks ago? Like, this is what I wanted. This is where my critique comes in. I'm excited that this is the pivot we turned into the story. However, this should have happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like, we are literally this close to Mania, and I'm excited. But we should have had this like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I agree, but with a slight modification, it should have either been this week or last week. But this whole feud should have been shorter, because Rumble should have been closer to Wrestle. That way there's less. Now we have to track out this story between the two. That's one of the big issues I'm seeing with this year's creative for WrestleMania, for this drive. It's there, but it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. It's like they're not really grasping at straws, but they're writing themselves kind of into a corner that they can't fully develop. And then when they do fully develop, they have more time to fill. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think we're going to talk about this when we get to our picks in a minute. It sounds like there's someone above Papa Hunter saying these people need to be in it this year. This has to happen. And they've been trying to shoehorn a lot of stuff together, which is why, in my opinion, it's hard to pick any of these. It's not arbitrary, but it's also a little like, these could go either way because there's a lot of rhyme, no reason, right? It's sort of like, yeah, these are all the names you want. You're checking a lot of boxes for whoever your investors are or whatever else are, right? This is the second WrestleMania with what's its company, right? Like in charge. So they're sort of, we want this, do this thing. You got Netflix there. You got everybody else that has money in the pot. So some of these wrestlers and performers are, trying to ramp this up as best they can, as quick as they can. And some of them are working and it's working and I'm in. Some of them, they're still treading that water. And you're right. 5 weeks ago, this would have been great. At least they found it. They could have run into never doing this. And really, Jimmy kind of saved this, right?
It's crazy. Yes, I agree. It's crazy that Jimmy was the catalyst and Jimmy was the hero of this story to get this where it needed to be. But Jay wanting to come for Gunther and to whoop his now that we're far enough in, whoop his ass at Mania makes me excited. So we'll talk more when we get to predictions, because right now this goes back to what we talked about. You know, Rey Mysterio is tired of the disrespect that El Grande Americano Latte has with Lucha Libre. And so he wants a match. So Pierce is like, oh yeah, I could do that. You know, we could do it on a Monday Night Raw. Ray's like, no, I want to embarrass this man on the grandest stage of them all. Adam Pierce says, you know what, Ray, we've been friends for a long time. And you know what? I'm going to give you what you want. And then we get this match made for WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano Latte. Yeah, I don't hate this match. I think this is going to be a fun one. I think people need to realize that not every match at WrestleMania has to have some sort of stakes to it. Is this the match I would have picked? Not necessarily, but you know what? I think it's going to be fun. I'm surprised it's not a mask for mask match.
See, but then matches like this become matches of the night, right? The goofy one-off, yeah, whatever, and all of a sudden it goes.
Look at Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn from WrestleMania 38. That was the whole buildup was kind of dumb, and I was like, I never liked celebrities in wrestling matches, and then Sammy and Johnny ended up being probably my top 3 matches of the whole 2 nights of that Mania. So it's crazy to me that everybody has been wanting Chad Gable to be on a WrestleMania card, because I don't even think he was in that tag team exhibition at Mania at SoFi. No, he wasn't. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's still not on a WrestleMania card.
But okay, let's we're not dumb. But the fact that people are complaining that Chad Gable is finally on a WrestleMania card just in this capacity and now are complaining about it, I'm like, y'all need to shut up. Y'all want Chad Gable on this card. He finally gets a WrestleMania match. He's fighting Rey Mysterio of all people, which, you know, in my book, I was like, I know Rey can't go as crazy as he normally does, like he was in his younger days, but Rey is an absolute legend, and Chad gets to fight a legend at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Folks just want to be contrarian about stuff they don't understand. I think this will be fun. I'm kind of pseudo excited for this one.
Same.
I am as well.
Granted, Saturday is my son's birthday party, so I'm going to be running in and out of this. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh my goodness. So from here, after this, I was so mad. I was like, this was not necessary, because we ended up getting a DQ from the New Day with steel chairs. And then I was like, okay, so either go home for Raw or the Raw after Mania. We'll get a rematch. A New Day wins the championship. All right, cool. This was over the weekend. Last weekend, I was like, okay. Well, actually, no. After Monday Night Raw, I was like, okay, we'll probably get a rematch. Go home with Raw or Raw after Mania. That's fine. And then Wednesday morning hits, and then I am hit with this news announcement that the tag titles between War Raiders and New Day, we get a rematch at Mania. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I don't blame the War Raiders. I don't blame New Day. I love both teams. I love them to granted. But the tag team division on SmackDown has been on fire for the last 7 months. And we've had interconnected feuds and rivalries and storylines and all that stuff. Now, while the matches themselves have been hit or miss, I was like, okay, you know what? With the Profits winning the championships, they might actually get a WrestleMania match. And then this match was made, and I'm like,
it's like, wait a second. Is he doing the shocker?
Old school. Yeah. All of a sudden, we're going to see Sufis and all these kind of things showing up. Like, what do you mean? What? Anyway.
So,
come on, let's get to the good part. Come on.
Yeah, we'll get to the good part. Okay. So, from here, we get a banging match between Penta and Dominic. I actually thought this was really good.
I heard
Dominic. Yeah, Dominic Penta ends up winning. Sorry. But Penta wins. Dominic had a great showing here. Carlito is resting in peace through this spear. Like, holy crap. Way to sell it, Carlito. You are my homie.
I honestly think Braun might have jumped too early, but he flew like a good 4 to 6 seconds.
I was on set yesterday for a student horror film thing going on, and I was doing some fight choreography and stuff behind the scenes. And a guy was like, yeah, something pro wrestling, something. And we were talking wrestling and double leg takedowns and other things. And I said, did you see Braun Breaker's spear from last Monday? And he goes, I've seen Braun Breaker. I haven't seen him do that. Oh, wait. Hang on, in the middle of all these people, and I'm surrounded by like dancers and folks that have nothing to do with wrestling. I was like, hey, just watch this. And I turned my phone there, and they all just scream, oh my God. Yeah, that's a man running 19 miles an hour, jumping way too early, still hitting the target and landing on his feet.
Yeah. Braun coming at you looking like that. It looks like a bronze statue coming at you full steam ahead.
Ridiculous.
Andrew Gavey had the best quote. It's like, well, it looks like Bronze Breaker is still at it again. I'm like, yep, he's being a menace, Bronze Breaker, and his horrible spring.
Yeah, and then he goes in and spears everyone, including Penta. I'm like, why? Like, that didn't make sense to me. And because I didn't see the original announcement of the 4-way when I watched this, because again, I have been busy with my child. And so like I saw, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then the 4-way announcement, like, that makes sense.
I hope they go the same way as like Stone Cold and the Stunner or Rock and Rock Bottom or Goldberg with the spear way back, where there's just a day you get a spear, like it just goes around.
City.
Everybody gets crushed by a move for however long, and you just see how long go. But I digress.
No, but I'm excited. This was fun. R.I.P. Carlito. It was great. Carlito had the best tweet afterwards. He's just like, rest in peace to me for getting the spear.
Oh yeah, he did.
So good. But
the one thing I want to say about Carlito is
go for it.
After this WrestleMania season, I really hope he does something, because Carlito is hilarious. His little just one-off jokes, they seem disjointed from the actual conversation going on, but it's just it's an R-Truth moment as I see it, which R-Truth followed me on TikTok. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that was the craziest part this week.
I was like, but it's so funny because he just comes in randomly and just says something stupid, just off the wall, and everyone's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Carlito is great. But to preview the go home happening tomorrow night for Raw, Roman Reigns will be on Monday Night Raw, and we're getting AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross. So I'm like, all right then, this is gonna be fun.
I have another thing. I just had a dumb idea that I really would love. The cool truth.
You know what? R-Truth teaming with Carlito, I'd be kind of here for. It'd be amazing. But we get it. Let's get into what closed out Monday Night Raw. Comes out. Seth Rollins is like, you know what? I don't know why you're with Punk or with Roman, but hey, it is what it is. But come WrestleMania, I'm gonna destroy both of your friends. Then Punk comes out. Him and Seth brawl. Seth gives a curb stomp to Punk. Paul Heyman is looking like a dad of like who just saw his son get brutalized by the school bully. But then the more fascinating part about this is that to end the show, Seth gets low. He meets Paul eye to eye and says, "Now you owe me a favor." And I'm just like, you know what? Heyman teaming up with Seth kind of might be great, because to me, this whole triple threat, Seth has been the odd man out for me. So, which leads me to think, I think Seth might be walking out as winner of that triple threat Monday night. But we'll talk about that when we get there, because we do got a SmackDown to still get through. So let's do that really quickly. Let's get through SmackDown.
There's only like 4 or 5 big moments to talk about for SmackDown.
Yes,
even though
it was a solid SmackDown, but I'm gonna give like a 1 to 2 sentence summary for all the points that we're gonna talk about, and I picked the things that I think were important. Randy Orton may be having a match at Mania. We still don't know yet. We will find out probably the day of.
Please fight Nick Aldis. Oh, that'd be hysterical.
Please fight Nick
Look at all those muscles there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Shout out to Randy Orton for mentioning Nick Aldis's wife, Mickey James, who is also a legend in her own right too. But look at all those muscles just waiting to get out of that suit to fight.
Could you imagine just and your opponent and just starts taking off the tie? It's just like, oh, it'd be so good.
Rip away suit would be amazing. So Randy wants a match, but we don't know that's happening. Tama Tonga and Solo come out, Nana Boo Boo to Randy Orton, say that nobody cares that you don't have a match. They begin to get in the ring, beat up Randy Orton. LA Knight, comes in for the save. This sets up our main event for SmackDown. Yes.
You forgot one of the most important parts of this segment. It's when Randy goes, "Hey, you."
Randy is just so
pure gold.
Randy coming back and just being underratedly funny is amazing. It's so much fun. But yeah, so this sets up the main event for SmackDown. I'm happy to see so many women on the show, but let's be all the way 100. As soon as we got announced that Bayley and Lyra were in this thing, I was like, oh, for sure, they're winning. And in fact, they did run the gauntlet because they started and beat every other team in this. By the way, Raquel and Liv's reactions through this whole entire match were priceless. Love
this. This is on my list for match of the year for 2020.
All the segments that we got between the matchups were really good. There was not a bad note that I have, because I think it was paced perfectly. Each section of the gauntlet got like 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
This was great. And in fact, I was like,
one point, I think Shayna Baszler got right on top of the head for something else. There was a few miscues in the red top, and I was like, "Oh, that looks rough." But then after that, it was 20 minutes of, "Oh, this is amazing." So I was really impressed by this.
I want to see more Maxine Dupri so much now.
Yes,
so
very much
good.
so.
But towards the tail end of this, again, Lyra and Bayley go through Pure Fusion Collective. They go through Natty and Maxine. They go through BFAB and Meek, Kaden and Katana. And then finally, they take on Piper and Fire, which allows Bayley and Lyra to win, which leads to this face-off towards the end, which means that we are getting a tag team championship match. Nick, friend to the channel. I can't wait for Bailey to turn on Lyra. Will Lyra have a signature moment as IC champ?
Oh man, that'd be crazy. Ooh, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. I'm gonna be honest though, when we talk to Mania predictions, to me, Liv and Raquel need to win at Mania because I don't think Bailey and Lyra need to be tag champs. I just feel bad because Liv has had an amazing year. And then for the women's tag team division to just be thrown a match last minute, be like, hey, let's have the titles on here. But it's like, whatever. I'm still excited for the match, though. I think these four are going to kill it. But moving on, we get the face-off between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I'm sad he no longer wears eye patch because eye patch daddy Drew McIntyre is now just Scottish daddy Drew McIntyre now.
Soap opera McIntyre. Yeah.
His evil twin, if you will, for the telenovela people out there. But yeah. So he is cleared. He's ready to fight. Damian Priest's facial expressions were amazing.
Have these been memed yet? Have these
not
made
yet
their way everywhere? They got to. It's just sort of like, why that face then? What are we doing? Pirate Paul McIntyre. That would be fantastic.
Amazing.
Dread Pirate Paul McIntyre.
The Dread Pirate McIntyre.
It's because of this segment. Not only do we get the Drew versus Damian match, but funny enough, this is the only match with some sort of stipulation because this will be a Sin City street fight. So I'm like, now y'all, when you say a street fight, we literally had Drew and CM Punk go at it at Hell in a Cell towards the tail end of last year. I need violence. I need blood. These two can go.
If they
give
don't
me
fight
the
their
Bad
way-
Bunny, Damian Priest levels of
I
craziness.
was gonna say that they got to fight their way down Fremont Street. One of them has to be on that hang glider thing, then run into the other. Like, give me all the crazy shit.
That would actually be kind of fucking cool as shit.
So
Just shut Fremont Street down for 10 minutes and just let these two go nuts.
exactly. So I'm excited. This was my match of SmackDown. I love the
This was
women's
fun,
match, but this was a fun one. I'm like, Rey Fenix is so great. But can we talk about how great Berto is? And I'm like, I need Berto to be going on one-on-one matches more because I love him and I love Angel Garza and Los Garzas as a tag team. But I'm like, I forgot how great Berto is as a singles wrestler too.
It seems like it depends on who his partner is.
Yes.
Because when it was him and Ray, they tore it down. They did some amazing stuff. When it was him and Dominic, they did some great stuff. I guess that was maybe 6-7 months ago. I can't remember now. Him and Fenix were fantastic. And I will always say Fenix, not Phoenix. It's Fenix. Come on.
We love you, but the white man is like, no. I'm like, no.
Yeah, Joe Tesso. It's Fenix.
That's Phoenix.
Fenix TX.
Hunter can't help himself because we also got Andrade. Berto is a child of divorce caught between and Santos. There might be some problems in Legado del Fantasma. And I'm like, Triple H, Hunter could not help himself, and we're getting brown on brown violence. I mean, that is the go-to every time we get a new Latino superstar. Speaking of Latinos, we're going to go to a Latina because this was weird. The way this match ended was weird.
So weird.
Zelina Vega won via countout, and then I come to find out that I don't know if Chelsea didn't hear or because it was so loud in the crowd, but literally the ref had to call for a shoot finish and do the countout because Chelsea couldn't get into the ring back in time.
Yeah, it was.
And this match
Is
was
that
scheduled
really
to
what
go on for a
happened?
couple of-
Watching it, and it's like I was kind of half paying attention because after a while, it got boring. I won't lie.
Wow.
She was down arguing with Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, and while he's doing the count, and I didn't even hear 8, 9, 10. All I heard was her turn around, get in the ring, and the bell rung.
She turns around and you see him go 10. Well,
Chelsea, I don't think heard, and because this, according to Fightful, the ref had to call for the bell to keep it going, and so this match was actually supposed to go on for a couple of minutes, which is unfortunate for both women involved. I mean, mistakes happen. I'm not mad at it, which means, I mean, we're getting a 6-woman tag next week, which probably means that we're leading to a Zelina Chelsea Green championship match at some point. And I think had it gone through the original plan, we might have got it next week, but they probably pivoted or something like that. But who knows?
it's rough for Selena because I want to see her more. It makes Chelsea Green's lore even funnier.
Oh, yeah,
Well, she took to Twitter and immediately handled it like a professional. She's like, I'm filing an injunction. I'm like, oh my God, Chelsea, never change. I love you so much. Listen, I want to see Zelina as United States champion, but I am just going to be sad when Chelsea loses this title because this championship for Brain has been fun, especially on-screen character work and social media stuff has been fantastic. I love that a Canadian wrestler is more American than other things in the world. It's great.
I want to see just a joke bit of wrestling court, like not in the back room, but like that they usually do, but in the ring.
You get the court theme song. It's like,
yes,
these are the plaintiffs. Oh my
call
goodness.
witnesses, give testimony.
Honestly, do a pre-tape backstage. It'd be amazing.
We
literally
would.
remember when Miz and Otis were on trial for the Money in the Bank briefcase? Like, bring that back. That was great.
That's funny.
It would be pure amazing. You could tie it in with like one of the other just random things that we're doing, like LFG. Fuck, what's the EX one? Not Explore or Explode, but like it's the
Something
other
like
one
that. Yeah.
The one I keep saying is basically they're taping the home shows.
Yes. Okay. I know what you mean now. Yeah. But again, unfortunately, I wish we got the full minutes, but hey, you know what? More Chelsea and Zelina is never a bad thing in my eyes. More blacks. We got candles this time for Aleister Black. God, I am so ready for his return. I cannot wait. This is going to be fun. Production gets a round of applause for me this week because we got dueling promos from Naomi and Jade Cargill. I'm like, yes, budget, come through. Also, I love that every week we see Naomi now is more and more razor blade. She literally has them as braid ties in her hair. Look at this. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was excited when Naomi turned heel, but there was that little voice in the back of my mind that I wasn't sure how a heel Naomi would do. She is killing it so far, and I don't care if I'm biased. I am ready for Switchblade Naomi over here, razor blade Naomi, to proceed with caution. I'm excited. And then Jade's dueling promo too. I was like, just let the girls talk how they are. It's like, we're going to run a fade. I'm about to whoop your ass. I was like, just let Naomi. I don't want to, you know what? I will say it because I can. Just let Naomi and Jade be them. Let them be two black girls who are about to throw down. Like, be for real. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I am probably the most excited about this women's match at Mania. I think this has the potential to put Naomi to a whole nother level, but this will be also a great opportunity for Jay to kind of have more of that one-on-one experience because she's been in a tag team this whole entire time since she's been in WWE. So
this is Jade's time to shake all the criticism over the last 4 years. Everything from AEW, everything since she got here, everything since she took time off for injury and whatever else, and Naomi is going to set her up for it too. Like, this is Jade's shot to go, you know what? They've talked all this. We know you've put the work in. Show out. I think they'll do it.
So I'm excited. I cannot wait. Cody Rhodes has a promo. He mentions a bunch of different wrestling companies and talks about prestige. And then basically he tells us that, John Cena is not going to be able to have his another championship win because Cody's going to be the one to stop him. So I was just like, I kind of dug this segment. I liked it. It was fun.
This segment did give me goosebumps because when he stopped on what I think is one of the most important versions of that belt, because it has the late great Eddie Guerrero's stuff on it, and you could hear from the crowd chanting for Eddie, and it's like, yes. And then I think he skipped the last belt just to talk about the spinner, and then finish the promo up. I'm like, you missed something here, my guy.
I wrote this on my list of promos of the year. I love the way he set it up. I love how he played the camera. I like the ambiance and reverence he brought to it. This could have fallen flat really quick because you're doing stuff with props in WWE history. This could look like propaganda and boring, whatever, but he didn't try to sell me anything. I was also, and this is me as acting teacher, very coherent of his vocal work in getting over that lisp he has, because he chose a lot of S's and sounds and certain things, and he really hit all the diction in that too. Just me as acting teacher, I thought this was great. He nailed this
before Mania, so I'm interested to see if it's a solo Cena or if Cody and Cena have a thing to final thing. But Cody did a great job with this. I liked it. Preview for the Go Home SmackDown this week. John Cena returns. We get a 6-woman tag with Zelina teaming up with Kaden and Katana, taking on Chelsea Green and the Secret Service of Piper and On Fire. We are unfortunately getting the Andre the Giant Battle Royale match, but I'd rather it be on SmackDown than on WrestleMania. And then what I am hoping leads into a match at Mania on Sunday. We are getting the Profits defending the titles against the Motor City Machine Guns. If we do not get a clean finish, I am hoping they add it to Mania, because I'm like, please do. But anyways, that is a preview for the Go Home this week on SmackDown, which leads us into the final thing. Angelo Dawkins is speaking for all of us when he's like, this is for the IWC Glazers out there. And Profits, without throwing direct jabs at the creative, talking and being interviewed about not having this championship match at Mania. And I'm like, Street Profits, same. Like, We could have had the SmackDown division be there instead of the Raw Tag Team Championship match, but I'm here for Mello and Miz, but I need them to do something more. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot y'all were a thing. And you kind of been on the punching bag of things. But who knows? This might be the first, depending on what happens on Friday, we might have them become new challengers for the tag team division, because Mello and Miz could be a lot of fun. Mello don't Miz. I want that as a t-shirt tag team name. But I'm so mad. The Profits, I feel like, never get the shine that they deserve. They've never even got to have, they don't get a championship match at WrestleMania. They've been on Manias before, but it's never been for championships. It's always been involved in some weird stuff. Like at WrestleMania 39, they were in that tag team showcase, which was great, but it wasn't for a championship. And that was at SoFi. Last year, they teamed with Bobby and took on Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain in that Philly street fight, which was a weird storyline. And then Bobby promptly got terminated like a couple weeks afterwards, which is kind of weird too. And then they're champions, but they don't even get to defend the titles on WrestleMania against the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm like, damn, y'all, what could have happened. Anyways, but I'm holding out hope, crossing my fingers, toes, and any other appendage that I can, that Profits and Motor City Machine Guns don't end cleanly, and we have to get a rematch at Mania. But I digress. You know, the way that they were advertising, it was like, okay, we're getting to the final bit. This match randomly happened right before we get to the final thing. Tiffany versus Roxanne Perez. I'm like, Roxanne, where have you been? I mean, she's been missing from NXT and WWE television since Elimination Chamber. I thought this was a solid match.
It was. I forgot how short she is.
Yes. Charlotte Flair comes in to attack Tiffany. I find it very interesting that Wade comes to Tiffany's defense and gets himself between the two of them. Poor Wade, by the way, also. I felt really bad for him in that promo last week. Like, he just sat there. He's like, damn, I don't even know how to moderate this. This went off the rails so quickly. But the crazy thing is that this interaction should have been how we've handled this from the beginning. Just Charlotte being like, okay, Tiffany is just Tiffany, and I'm going to show her that you don't mess with me.
They tried to do this in the beginning, but Charlotte slow played it in some weird kind of fashion. And I'm going to sit on this chair above you thing. I'm going to make you earn the sort of that. I don't like you. I'm going to hit you in the face. Just start there.
They should have just started brawling the moment that Charlotte put her hands on Tiffany before she chose her to face her at Mania. Because then we spent, the 2 weeks doing promo battles between the two of them, and then they brawled on the stage when they went international. And then I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Then we went back to the promo battles. I'm like, this was poorly constructed.
I know we're up against it, and I have some thoughts on this, but we got to jump to the picks. I want to know what the Charlotte Wade thing is they're going to pull. There's something to that was oddly specific, and I'm not going to lean on the acting of either one of them, but there was something there that was like, oh, you clocked that for a reason. Ooh. Fascinating. So I don't know.
Spill the tea. Anyways, but yeah, Tiffany versus Roxanne was great. I wish this is how this feud started, with them going after each other, because this was poorly constructed. We'll talk about it during picks more, because main event time, Randy Orton and LA Knight beat Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. LA Knight pins Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu and comes in Rex's house, ends the show by holding up the United States Championship. That's how SmackDown goes off the air. I have nothing else to say about it. Cool. Great. Let's get into the fun stuff, because this is why we're all really here, you guys.
All right.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to end our review by doing our picks for WrestleMania. So I'm sending the form to the group chat now. So this is how it's going to go.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is how it's going to go down. The Mini, unfortunately, could not be here, but he already put in his picks. So he did his picks last night. I got to read them. Very interesting. But we are going to go over both nights of Mania. So we're going to start with night 1, go into night 2. The order is not the set order for the match card itself, except for the main events, because we have been told what the main events are going to be. But this is the order that I put these in, and we go with singles matches, then tag champs, then mid-card titles, and then on to the main titles and main events and all that stuff. So we are going to start off with night 1, which is going to be a lot of fun. And the first match we're going to talk about is Naomi versus Jade. This is the first match in the last 4 years of Mania, that this is a non-title singles match, which is kind of crazy to say. Again, this is probably the most exciting story that we have gotten for any of the women's matches, in my personal opinion. leading into this year's Mania. This one is also very tough for me to pick because I can make an argument of why Jade could win and should win, why Naomi could win and should win. But based on everything, to me, I'm going to go with Naomi because I feel like in order to keep Naomi's heel momentum going, I think that Naomi needs to win this. So I'm going to go with Naomi on this one. Professor, who you got between these two?
I'm going to go, I think it's Jade because then you might have more storytelling to do after that. You might be able to go back to Bianca and figure something out. I don't think that I think there's shenanigans here. I don't think it's a DQ or anything like that, but I think Naomi is still strong as heel here, but I think Jade gets some sort of swervy victory here.
That is very fair. Hilt, who you got in this one?
I honestly don't have an actual dog in this fight, so to speak. Poor choice of words, I understand, but I have to agree with Professor. I want Jade to win in a slightly sketchy way so Naomi can crash out a little more and deeper her heel run. And either way, it's going to be great because I love these two as athletes and as performers. And I really want a dirty win by Jade.
Interesting. Alrighty. So again, to recap the picks, I have gone with Naomi and Professor and Kilt have gone with Jade. And then Minnie has also gone with Jade as well. So I'm the only one that's picked Naomi.
And of course, that means Naomi will win.
I have a feeling that's what it's going to be.
Well, to kind of also give a quick reasoning too, the reason I also picked Naomi too is I think Jade will get a lick back because the next pay-per-view is literally called Backlash. So
maybe.
So we get a rematch. We could get a rematch there, but I digress. Moving on to the next match, where we have the legend himself, Rey Mysterio, taking on El Grande Americano Latte in just a singles bout. Because there's no stakes to this, I'm going with El Grande Americano Latte to actually win this match. I feel like Rey can afford to lose here, and especially since it's not like, oh, we're doing a mask versus match type of match. So I'm picking El Latte over here to win. We'll go to Kilt for this one first. Kilt, who you got between Rey and Grande Latte?
Well, yeah, I do agree. This should be a mask for mask match, in which I always will pick Rey Mysterio. The only reason why I want Starbucks here to win is there's another one I could use. It's very, very specific to anybody who's a Disney fanatic, and it's Joffrey's. Joffrey's is Disney's Starbucks.
Nice.
Yeah, I wonder why I know that. Didn't work for Disney 3 different times. Anywho, the only reason why I would ever want him to win, but I have Rey picked.
I'm going to ask the dice. I'm going to roll this one for high-low. It's high. I'm going to roll this one for the pick. It's low, so it's Rey. I think it's Rey who's going to win. I think someone gets involved. I think there's more to this story, though, but I'm going to say something. I think something's going to change after this. I don't know what it's going to be.
Alrighty, so Professor is on his own island by picking Rey. The rest of us have Grande Latte Americano.
which means it's going to be Starbucks over there.
No, I picked Rey for win. The only reason why.
That would be so amazing.
That'd be
so amazing.
He returns from helping the orphans in Mexico to come to.
Or we get some masked, we don't know who that is, wrestler, which would be very cool. Who is that? And no one knows.
That would be amazing. So we are split 2-2 between Rey and Grande Americano Latte. So moving on to the next match, the Raw Tag Team Championship match is on this card, but we're still going to talk about it. The War Raiders defending their titles against the New Day. This is the easiest pick for me. I'm going with New Day. I feel like they kind of need to win. I feel so bad for the War Raiders that we haven't gotten to do much with them in their championship runs on Raw. I thought we were going somewhere. We're having a feud with the Mayo brothers, as Kilt has, called the Creed brothers, but that kind of fell to the wayside. And, honestly, the same thing for New Day. Since they kicked Biggie out, I was like, oh man, this is going to be exciting. Then they've been feuding with LWO and kind of just not been doing much of anything. Yeah. And now we have this championship match. So this is the easiest pick for me. I am going with the New Day to win because I feel like they kind of need to win because having them as champions, I think, would hopefully help fix the Raw tag team division on the men's side.
I agree. I think it's New Day. War Raiders have been champions for what, right? Maybe not quite a year, but a bit of time.
Like a couple of months, I want to say.
Oh, has it only been a few months? Yeah,
it's felt like a year, but
I feel like they do drop in here to New Day. I think the draft happens at some point, and then maybe the War Raiders head over to SmackDown, where the tag talent is totally different, and then we get a real shakeup over there. I think you're right. I think New Day as heel champions could be amazing, and I think that might even set up they would never do this, but the super card of New Day as champions I don't mean to have people versus color, but could you imagine them and oh my god, my brain just blinked.
Pretty dead.
Street Profits, excuse me, Street Profits versus New Day would be ridiculous.
Amazing. And we have seen them have amazing matches. What was it? I think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was Profits and New Day or Profits and no, it was Profits and New Day. The build for like Money in the Bank in London like 2-3 years ago was trash. And they ended up balling out. So, no, it was Profits and Usos, but even still,
I think they need to shake up the divisions, and they know that. And I think moving the title around a little gives them a chance to.
How dare you, Nick? New Day got new attire. Mikey started wearing sleeves. I think not. So, Professor and I got new.
She's right through you, Mikey.
For reals. All right, Kilt, who you got for this one?
I have War Raiders because I want this to be a situation where New Day comes off of this loss and either crashes out harder or they realize, hey, maybe we are the problem and kind of like
are we the baddies?
Realizes, something and they change their mindset and actually come back better and maybe make up with Big E or do something else. I don't know. I think I'm on the War Raiders.
Okay. So in tallying the final results, it is 3-1. Professor, myself, and Minnie have picked New Day, and Kilt has gone with the War Raiders. So next championship match we're going to talk about is for the United States Championship. Again, this is all on night one, folks. So we have LA Knight. You're taking on Jacob Fatu. This is where I feel like we've kind of, while I'm excited for this match, this is going to hurt either way because either LA Knight no longer becomes champion by the end of this night or Jacob Fatu gets screwed out of being a champion after building up as kind of a solo player and kind of starting to distance himself away from Solo and Tama and all the Bloodline 2.0 Temu Wish.com version of the Bloodline nonsense. This one's hard. So I'm going with Jacob Fatu to win and be your new United States champion, which is a crazy statement to say. But this one's really tough. This is true 50-50 for me. I had to flip a coin.
I was going to roll the dice for this, but I think you may have convinced me. I'll go to Jacob for this, but for two reasons. One, I think you're right. He's got to blow through the mid card and be ogre. I think this should be the thing that breaks up the last of the bloodline. I'm a champion. I did this on my own. I don't need you. And then we get this bloodline thing that can happen. And if it's true when we go to Jacob, can we please put LA Knight in the top of the card? Are we now having LA Knight? Are we putting him at the top of the roster?
Putting him putting him on the main card event, the main event scene. Yeah,
he's had 2 title runs. He's blown out your storylines for 3 years. You cannot deny him anymore. He's a draw. He's there. He could run the mic against all of them. It's hard because you got a lot of faces in the main card, so you're gonna have to turn somebody somewhere, and you don't want to turn him yet. I would think. I think he should be up there. I think he's shown it.
So Kilt, who you end up having for the now? Remember, this is for the United States Championship. So who you got for this one?
I actually have Jacob for that. And the reason I have Jacob for this is the same reason Eddie got his championship. He's fought for it. He's come from a dark place. He got into wrestling because of it, and he's building back his personal respect for himself and for his family and trying to be a better person, be it father, be it just human being in general. I think this could be a potential face/ego turn because I like having the 3 dichotomies of wrestling, not just the 2. But I think Jacob's going to win this, and it's going to focus him better. Yeah, as you said, this is going to be a separation between him and Solo and him and Tama Tonga and him and Tongaloa. And it's going to be I've got this. This is what I did. We've already seen the seeds from the storyline planted in multiple places. This is going to be a defining moment for Jacob, and I think he's going to win it. And I agree, LA does need to be elevated to the next level of the main card. And Jacob, it should be mid card for a little bit longer, like maybe 1 or 2 more years, and then brought back up to that main card as well, because I think Jacob is doing great work, and I think he deserves this win.
So it is a clean sweep. All 4 hosts for Dual Dynasty for WWE have picked Jacob to win. So that is one where we all unanimously agree on. Now let's talk about something where we're probably not going to all agree on, but Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship match.
Before we get to that, I have to say one thing that I have to say something that Nick just mentioned on YouTube. New Day got new attire and Mikey started wearing sleeves. Coincidence? I think not.
Nick really hates it when I wear sleeves because he's used to seeing me in a tank top half the time. Don't worry, tank top season it will be happening this week, Nick, because it is a heat wave right now. It is like 100 and something odd degrees this whole entire weekend and probably leading into a good chunk of next week too. So you will see me in tank tops, but I will not be the only boy in a tank top that you see throughout this week because I got a whole bunch of people going to be staying at my house in the next couple of days. So
It's matter of time before one of us ends up in a onesie, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes, it's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun. But this is for the WWE Women's Championship. This is Tiffany defending her title against Charlotte Flair. We talked about it throughout the SmackDown and on previous weeks. This has been the most messy, non-focused story feud build to this. And this is where I want to say I actually don't blame Charlotte. I don't blame Tiffany. They've had their small little parts in not making this work. But I mostly blame whoever is writing this story and Hunter and everybody else in the back because this has been not great. Because Charlotte probably, and this is just an assumption, so she can tell me that I'm wrong. This is not. I'm not talking about Charlotte. I'm talking to Ashley, the person behind the Charlotte character. I honestly think she wanted to be a face in this because that was what we kind of got, but the crowd just automatically did not like her. So I feel like Charlotte already was working up against the hill, so to speak, coming back from injury, being out for so long and everything. But it also has not helped that Tiffany has kind of been struggling on the mic a little bit. And I don't know if it's because they've told her to do something different on main roster than in her NXT run, but NXT Tiffany was kind of great. And I'm kind of sad that since being able to turn on her bully of Nia Jax and take the title from Nia, Tiffany has kind of suffered and okay, she's champion, now what? Because remember, we still had to tend with Nia for a little bit towards the tail end of 2024. And then once that was done, Tiffany has kind of just been waiting. Charlotte wins the Rumble. We've gotten a 10-week build that has sucked the life out of this. And I am of the mindset that this match is happening. Do not let these two touch each other again until further notice. Like, I do not want to see these two feud anytime soon because this has been a whole mess.
So what's your pick?
I have Tiffany retaining.
You have Tiffany. Okay.
I have Tiffany too, but I had to
go pee.
I think they're going to make the wrong choice and give it to Charlotte. I think they're going to make the wrong choice. Like I said, coming back from injury, all the personal whatever. It already seems like they're skewing that way. And I think that's partly why we don't like it. And the fans are trying to get it to pump the brakes, but we see this coming. It's going to go to Charlotte. Charlotte's going to be heel champion again. And we're going to get the same animosity that we got 5 years ago and 3 years ago and 2 years ago, right? Every time Charlotte's back, she jumps to the front of the line, she takes the championship, and they're going to lean on it this time and sadly make Tiffany fight her way back up, but that's the choice I think they're going to make.
Well, you are on your own island for this one, Professor, because me, Kilt, and Minnie picked Tiffany.
I want Tiffany to win. I want Tiffany to win. It makes more sense for Tiffany to win. I think they're going to make the wrong choice and give it to Charlotte.
That is also my concern, that they are going to make the wrong choice and give it to Charlotte. My pick is Tiffany wins, retains the title, builds more story, turns more heel than she already is, does something fun there.
Like I've said for last 3-4 years we've been doing this podcast. I don't know how long we've been here. If it makes sense, they're not going to do it. And if I didn't know who these two were and I saw just this sign and saw Tiffany Tratto and Charlotte Flair, I'd be very confused. I would have no idea who they are. But anyway, continue.
Alrighty, so again, Kilt, myself, and Minnie have picked Tiffany, and Professor has picked Charlotte again because of how much it's pretty much a 3-way tie in the WWE Predictions League. Again, this is gonna make and break a bunch of us, so this is gonna be fun. But then we get into our 6th and semi-final match of the night. Before we talk about night one's main event, we have the World Heavyweight Championship match, which is Gunther defending his title against main event Jay. So I'm going with Jay.
Same reason I have Jay. Absolutely right. I think he has the momentum. I think this might have been part of the deal they made when they broke up the bloodline 2 years ago, and I want to run at that. That's just sort of me looking at it from a meta standpoint, but I think you're right. I think it's Jay.
One word, 4 letters.
Yeet. Super simple. Again, it's another clean sweep. All four of us have picked Jay to walk out as champion, which means let's get into our main event of night one. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. This is a match that has been built on hate. And Seth hate each other. Punk and Roman hate each other. We got favors that were being cashed in. We got Paul Heyman trapped in the middle between these three, like a child of divorce between three very different dads, if you will. Again, this one's tough because I can make a case for anything. But I feel like because he's not really being talked about of being the true winner of this, I'm going to go with my Nostradamus pick for this whole entire thing. I'm going with Seth. I think Seth wins here because I feel like there's more to have between Roman and Punk feuding because they hate each other. And then Seth ends up being the winner here because he capitalizes. Again, the architect has been shown in the past to capitalize on people's hatred for other people. So I'm going with Seth to walk out as the winner here.
I think Heyman betrays Punk. I think Roman still gets screwed, and I think Seth has a shot. They're really pushing CM Punk too hard, right? We're really pushing him as face the guy. So that leaves the door wide open for Seth. So I'm still torn. So I'm going to roll the dice between Seth and CM Punk because I don't think it's Roman. So I'm going to go high CM Punk, low Seth. That one's high. CM Punk. I'm going to pick CM Punk. The dice have chosen. But I would not be surprised. I still think Paul Heyman might betray him. I still think something goes south. I still think now that we have favor with Seth, something's weird in there. But it makes me nervous picking CM Punk because they're pushing him so hard. And usually that means that they're going to lose, right?
This is truly like any choice can go. But I'm going to go with my Nostradamus pick. I'm going to stick with Seth. And then you got Punk Professor. Kilt, who you got for this one?
What does Minnie have?
Yeah, what does Minnie have?
Minnie has Punk.
I will be the outlier, and I will say Roman.
Oh, we're pretty much all split. I love that.
But if I pick Seth, I stay in closer to Mikey. So now I'm playing to win the thing.
Professor just does not want to wear that wrestling singlet.
Trust me, I don't mind. But if it's Punk after all of this, isn't that
Professor,
too easy?
you pick who you
I'll stay with Punk.
So even though there's four of us, this is truly a split because not like all three men have been selected by one or two hosts. So truly this can go either way, but we will
if
see.
If it's CM Punk winning, he still gets betrayed and destroyed in the ring.
Oh, I feel like the only person who's going to walk out unscathed, regardless of what happens, is probably going to be Seth, win, lose, or draw. I think Seth walks out okay.
It's going to be Paul Heyman. He walks out fine.
Oh, that is very true. Yeah. But this is going to be interesting. So that has been night one. We're not done yet. Now we got to go to night two. So night two. So let me get to the next page. So night two, let's start out with the match I really don't care about. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Just because out of sheer spite for Logan, I'm going to pick AJ. That's really my only reason.
Picked Logan out of the four of us. Did any of us pick Logan?
No. Well, at least I don't think so. Many picked AJ.
My only hesitation is because that's the wrong choice, and sometimes they like making the wrong choice. But I doubt AJ would want to put Logan Paul over or want anything to do with this guy, in my opinion, unless he's getting screwed out of it by carrying Cross or something weird like that, which is not awful. But I'm not picking Logan Paul. I always pick against. I refuse to pick. It's AJ. Yeah. I'm picking. Yeah,
it's a clean sweep. It's AJ.
Yeah, it's AJ. I refuse to pick Logan, even if it means I take a loss here. I do not care. I'm never going to pick Logan. You can't make me. So next, Sin City Street Fight, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. No longer Captain Dean Morgan with his eye patch. I want him to keep the eye patch, but I understand why he wouldn't. Wrestling in an eye patch is crazy. I don't know. This is 50-50. Okay, I can make a case, though. Drew can win. Damian can win. You know what? I'm going with Drew on this one. I feel like Damian can take a loss more than Drew can. But I don't want to bet against my Puerto Rican brother. I'm going to go with Damian because I never want to bet against my Puerto Rican brothers. But, who knows? We'll see what happens. But next match, we got the latest match added to the card, which is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan defending their titles against Lyra and Bayley. Again, this is another easy one for me. I got Liv and Raquel. I love Lyra and Bayley. They do not need to be tag champs right now.
I agree.
Especially since Lyra is a mid-card women's champion. It makes no sense. So I'm sure we all have. Oh, ooh, okay. So
I want to see Lyra as a double champion. Just even if it's like 2 weeks or whatever, it's just a short reign. I want us to get as a double.
I mean, it could be a lot of fun too. But unfortunately, for some reason, WWE doesn't love to see women holding multiple championships like their men counterparts do. They literally stripped Stephanie Vaquer in NXT of her women's North American championship, which makes me so mad. But the trade-off was that Stephanie got to pick her opponent to face at Stand and Deliver this weekend. And she chose everybody who's been involved with her. So that's a fatal four-way between her, Jordan Grace, Julia, and Jada Parker. That match is going to be crazy. And then the vacated title, because Shawn Michaels loves a good ladder match. I need a ladder match on main roster. But anyways, so I got Los Chingonas over here over Raquel and Liv. Kilt has Lyra and Bailey. Professor, who you got?
Oh no, I agree with you. I think it's Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez.
That was easy enough. So that is a 3-1 split. Kilt has picked Lyra and Bailey. Minnie, myself, and the professor have went with Los Chingonas over here. I love this. I still think this is going to be a good match. I think all 4 women are going to do fantastic. So, moving on to the next match, the Fatal 4-Way, as if the odds weren't already crazy enough. So this is Braun Breaker defending his Intercontinental Championship against Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Penta. Honestly, for me, it's really down between 3 people, but I'm going to eliminate Penta because as much as I would love to see him as champion, I feel like it's still too early since he's been here in WWE to be a champion. So it comes down between, but just again, I'm going to pick my Nostradamus pick here. I'm going to have Dominic walk out as champion here. I'm going with Dominic Mysterio as champion.
I'm torn between Dom and Braun keeping it because I don't think they want to take it off Braun because he's doing so well with it. And people are talking about him and he's a human highlight reel right now.
But this is the perfect match for him to lose it because he doesn't necessarily have to be pinned to lose it in this thing.
If Finn tries to screw Dom gets around it. But then who's taking the pin here?
I think Finn is here to take the pin.
So Dom's pinning Finn, which makes the most sense, is possible.
Well, I think if we're either Dominic, Braun, or Penta, if those 3 options, I think Finn is going to take a pin for all 3 of them and be the one to get pinned.
Huge if Dom gets his first championship at a WrestleMania.
I think honestly, I feel like it's time for him to finally get, even if it's not a long run, have him, because then you can still set up Finn and Dominic feuding for a little bit. And then if you want to, you move into Penta and Dominic down the line.
Maybe we're finally breaking up Judgment Day with this one.
Yeah.
Dominic and Liv being a power couple with 2 championships. That's a cool heel turn. I like that. I'll go Dom.
Cool. So Dominic, who you got?
Well, I originally picked, I was fumbling between Bronze and Penta because I like Penta. I'm probably going, I think I on the sheet, I picked Penta, but I'm probably going to side on the side of Bronze Breaker. Now, having in my notes, I put Judgment Breakup, Finn maybe becoming the demon again for even a short stint, potentially, and then Dom healed face turning. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, it's either going to be Bronze or Penta, so it's one of those 2. I don't really care. I just want to see Dom, because Dom is performing well, but I want to see him turn face and actually make up with Ray at one point. You know what? Actually, if he does win and Ray comes out to congratulate him, it's kind of like a start to the makeup.
Well, and Ray has gone on record all last year and all this year that his time in the ring is almost up. He's got like maybe another year or 2. And so now getting Dom ready to be going back to a face, you set up the legacy match of Dom versus Ray and have Ray put Dominic over as that next star, which I'm not going to lie. As much as I would see it at a Mania, I think it would mean more if you had Backlash Mexico be the place where Ray officially retires. Mexico deserves it. And honestly, Dominic being touted as the next one to be in that legacy of the Eddie Guerreros and Rios, like, oh, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to cry. But in this particular one, we do have a little bit of a split because Professor and I and Minnie have picked Dominic. And then Kilt over here has Penta, but we want a person of color, not you, Braun, to walk out as Intercontinental Champion on this one. Genuine color, yes. When Braun is involved, it is no longer peoples of color. It is people of genuine, actual pigmented color.
Yes, of natural color, not artificial.
Natural. Yeah, exactly. I honestly think this is my dark horse. I think this might be a sleeper hit, which I think is going to be fun. Alrighty, so now we get into the main event, or at least in my mind, what should have main evented one of these nights, but I digress. The triple threat for the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I am in the minority. I don't think this has been a wasted story. I think people are just mad because Rhea has, y'all complained that she was getting ran over, and now you wanted to see her as a more dominant wrestler and a dominant champion. She ran through the women's division, and then y'all started to complain that she was too dominant. I was just like, you're just mad. And then, I don't like the discourse around Bianca and how people have turned on her all of a sudden either. I was just like, you just don't want to see a black woman succeed. Let's be all the way 100. But that's neither here nor there. To me, it could go either way, but I'm going to go with Io. I think Io should have a little bit longer with the title. I think Io has worked hard to get back to this position. And in the storyline, she's been pushed to the side by Rhea and Bianca fighting with each other and not really looking at Io. So I think this is the match where Io's like, oh, okay, y'all bitches you're going to ignore me. I'm the champion here. All right. And then she just decimates. I would love to see Io get like a statement win where like we pull a whole Roman Reigns pinning both Rhea and Bianca at the same time. And just be like, now what? But I have Io retaining here. I think this is one of the few championships that will not change hands at Mania.
I think you're right. You are absolutely right. I don't want Io Sky to be a transitional champion. I don't want her to get stuck in between these two. I think it's Bianca Belair, because then you have Rhea go for Charlotte, and then you have this Bianca Belair with the title, Naomi Jade thing going on.
Could be.
And I think Io gets pushed to the side, sadly. It's wrong. I don't think that's the right thing. I think she should show out like you just said. But if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. And I think they let Bianca Belair get it, which would be her third or fourth. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Where
I think Rhea's going to go after. I think they're going to really pivot back to Rhea Charlotte because they really want to do that.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I think this should have main evented one of the nights, but I digress. I hope these three women were like, oh, okay, so they're not going to put us on the main event, so let's just over deliver, because I think this match is going to slap too. Which brings us to the actual main event of night 2, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. This one is really down the line 50-50. Because you can see Cody holding on to it. You can also make the case for John Cena getting his 17th title win and breaking the record. This one's tough, but I thought about it. I tried to think what would be the most compelling storyline leading into the end of 2024. Going from Mania to SummerSlam, and maybe even from SummerSlam to Survivor Series. I have picked the leader of the C Nation himself, John Cena, to walk out as your undisputed WWE champion. So I have got Cena winning this one, which is really tough. It literally came down to a coin flip because I was truly could not choose between these two. So I'm sticking with my coin flip, and I'm going with John Cena on this one.
John Cena ending his career as heel champion is still pretty wild to me. That's where my head goes. You don't need to put Cody over. Cody's already been champion for over a year and figured it out. I think you might be right. I think it's John Cena. I think they let him do this. I think Cody is okay with doing it this way. And now you have a story of, do we win back the soul of John Cena for this? Or do we let him retire this way, or however we do it?
R-Truth is the one to bring him back to the light.
Which would be great. And I think then you have Cody Rhodes trying to fight back to get it again, which I don't hate. This promo from last Friday is what makes me feel like it's probably edging a little towards John Cena, because we've really built I don't know, I could go either way as well, but I think it's going to be Cena.
All right. And then finally, Kilt, who you got walking out as champion?
I got Cody. I don't think that, it's great if Cena gets the championship and, hits that record, kicks out Ric Flair from the record book of that. It's the way they handled it made Cena look like a little bitch. And I liked the way he handled it. He handled it well. He played it very well. He just still looks like a little bitch. I got Cody because Cody's been literally fire. He's been butts in seats. He's been printing money, as a certain individual used to say. And I think he retains.
Okay. So we are in a 3-1 split. Professor, myself, and Minnie have gone with Cena. Kilt has gone with Cody. But I think this is still going to be a really fun main event. And honestly, we know shenanigans are probably going to go down. Something's going to happen. Crazy things are going to be abound. It's WrestleMania. When do shenanigans not happen at Mania? But that does bring us to the end of our WrestleMania predictions. So I'm going to hit the submit button to submit my final predictions in. They are locked in. Oh my goodness. That does bring us to the end of Dual Dynasty for this week. So we will not be having a regular WWE review next Sunday, as we will be in the middle of Mania craziness. So before we sign off, let's recap what you can expect for the next 2 weeks, because this is a 2-week event, y'all. BC WrestlePod is having its own WrestleMania / Coachella with wrestling here. So this is what you are going to be expecting for the next 2 weeks. So kicking things off tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, Adolfo and I will be here reviewing New Japan's Windy City Riot pay-per-view, in which this was Hiroshi Tanahashi's last United States match, as he's retiring next year in January at Wrestle Kingdom 21. And his final match in the United States was against Konosuke Takeshita. So that was a great match. So stay tuned tomorrow. Tuesday, the 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific is the AEW review, as we review Dynamite and look over the matches that have been announced for Dynamite and Collision Spring Breakthrough specials happening this week, which is going to be wild to see. On Wednesday, it is the final stop for NXT before Stand and Deliver with the Go Home Show review. And then later on at 8 p.m. Pacific is CMLL Lucha Libre Goodness, which is also gearing up to have some crazy stuff later in the next couple of weeks. Then things officially kick off with WrestleMania Hell Week, Thursday the 17th, 8 p.m. Pacific. Myself, Andrew, and a couple of other folks will be getting together to watch Josh Barnett's and GCW present Bloodsport 13. There's a lot of, funny enough, there's actually a lot of WWE talent involved in this. We got Karrion Kross, Natalia from NXT as Carmen Petrovich, Shayna Baszler is back. We also have one of my favorite matches I'm looking forward to. Oh, I forgot, Tavion Heights from NXT is in there too, which is exciting. But one of my most anticipated matches is going to be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jonathan Gresham, which is going to be crazy. We also got some Stardom girls wrestling in this thing. It's going to be wild. Then, if you want to see crazier stuff, join us 7 p.m. on Friday, April 18th, 7 p.m. Pacific, as we watch Joey Janela's Spring Break 9 presented by GCW, where we're getting Sabu's retirement match in a no ropes barbed wire massacre match, which is going to be crazy.
He's like 70 something.
Yeah, him and Joey Janela are about to do some crazy. Also, we have Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki fighting for the Ultra Violent Championship. We have Masha Slamovich defending her JCW championship. Megan Bayne is going to be there too. It's crazy. It's going to be a good time. But then for all you WWE purists, it begins on Saturday, April 19th, 10 a.m. Pacific, NXT Stand and Deliver pay-per-view watch along, and then come back at 4 p.m. Pacific for Night 1 WrestleMania watch along. April 20th, Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific, is Night 2 WrestleMania watch along, which leads us into the next week, which on the 21st, we have reviews for NXT Stand and Deliver and Effie's Big Gay Brunch for GCW, which is crazy. Tuesday the 22nd is Night 1 WrestleMania review. The 23rd is Night 2 WrestleMania review. And then we wrap things up on Friday the 25th with TNA's pay-per-view that's happening this week too, which is TNA Unbreakable, which will lead us into Rebellion on Sunday the 27th, because I will be in Los Angeles at the TNA pay-per-view coming live from USC. So it's going to be great. Okay. I've got that out of my system. That is a lot going down. So I'm excited because the crew that is going to be handling the next 2 weeks is myself, Kilt, Minnie, Adolfo, Andrew, JVL. Jesse is making his return too as well, which makes me super excited. So pretty much almost the whole entire crew is handling this one. Will, unfortunately, is busy in the middle of his, theater show, but he's going to be helping when he comes back in May.
I'll be here when I can, I promise. I will fight to be here.
The professor is going to be a gremlin running around, popping in and out, which is craziness. But then, of course, also friends to the channel, Nick and his wife will be a part of this as well. They're going to be popping in. A new podcasting friend, Josh, for PodMania. Between the three of us, will be popping in. Like, there's a whole production. I have been spending weeks getting this together, and I am super excited to do this. This is going to be great. But that is going to be it for us here at Dual Dynasty. Things kick off tomorrow night for New Japan's Windy City Riot, as the Strong Style Syndicate of myself and Adolfo will be covering New Japan. And then, of course, WrestleMania is upon us. So I am super excited. I hope y'all join us for all the activities and festivities. And even if you can, make sure to pop in, say hi, leave comments, things like that. It's going to be a crazy time this weekend. But for myself, the Dual Dynasty crew, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, we wish you nothing but to have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Remember, stay iconic. You always deserve to finish your story, and we will.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.